Well, hello, this is Karen Downing, and this is Spotlight on Frazee. We're outside today, which is a really big treat after this long winter. And it's just a gorgeous day, but we have a really serious topic today. And with me is Andrea Frober, City Council of Frazee. And Andrea, why don't you tell us where we are? And go ahead.
Okay, we're down here with Larry Stephenson. He's the head of our public works, and we are at, I believe, what he called the first line of defense against our lift station, which is down there. And we're here to talk about wipes clogging pipes.
All right, that's right. So Larry, we're just going to turn it over to you, and I think you're going to actually show us something really important, aren't you?
I will here in a minute. You know, I'm not just speaking for the City of Frazee. This is probably every city, large, small, every community within Minnesota, let alone the United States. Probably throughout the world are starting to have issues with these flushable wipes, as they call them. It's getting to be a problem. It's hard on our infrastructure, pumps, and everything else. Some bigger cities have equipment enough to combat some of these issues, but it's high-priced equipment, high cost of maintenance on this stuff. In smaller towns and even large towns, when you have these wipes start winding up in a pump, they're less efficient, get to a point where they won't even pump anything, which can create catastrophic, probably sewer backups into any resident or business in your community.
And you've been telling me how often you're having to deal with this right here in Frazee.
We, every once in a while, we'll get a pump that binds up on us that we got to go pull apart and pull the towels out of them that start winding up in there. Every day, twice a day, 365 days a year, we come down to this bar screen that catches some of this stuff, and I think we're only maybe catching a small part of it before it hits our main pump. But we have other lift stations around town that it's hard to catch that, so it'll wind up in them pumps. I'm going to pull this cover off. This is where all of our wastewater from one whole side of the town comes through. And this has got a bar screen down in here that catch most of this. Let's sneak around here. Now then, we basically come here and make sure this is open every day, just so some of your grease balls and whatnot don't get hung up, and bind up a pump down there for that. Now this is just one little quick scoop I'm going to grab out of here. I'll get some of this. Now that's parts of a rag there. I've been putting some of them in here over the last couple of days here, just so you can see what that looks like. Them are all wipes. This was in just a couple of days of cleaning this bar screen out. Every day we'll pull out half of that or that much.
And you're saying every day?
Every day.
Twice a day. Sometimes you fill up the bucket loader.
We've had the skid steer bucket full when we clean out the rest of this. We got a little room down here to toss some of them. But now these all look soft and fluffy right now, but I'm gonna show you in the back of our pickup here.
Okay.
And when them towels start getting wound up in our pumps, it creates this almost like a mop.
Wow.
They're fibrous and they do not break down like tissue. And this will make a pump totally inefficient to operate, let alone might not pump anything. Or bind them up to where you'll burn up motors and everything else.
That's a solid piece of...
That's a solid gob.
I mean, I can hear you hitting it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
It's like a big thing of yarn.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like.
And they'll clog. I mean, it ain't just these wipes people flush down the toilets. It's we had another. These are yoga pants that were bound up in one of our pumps also.
Right, or some leggings maybe.
Or leggings of some sort.
Right.
But there's stuff that will flush down a toilet, as you can see.
Huh.
And people got to be a little bit more aware of that, because it might go away from them and then we end up dealing with it.
Right. Right. That's serious.
Yeah,
That's pretty
it can
serious.
be.
We talked about, when you and I met in February, we talked about the fact that it wraps around the motor and it just keeps
The inner inside of the pump, the
inside of the
impeller.
pump.
Yep.
And then it can just burn out. And what we really want the community to know is how expensive that will be to each homeowner if we have to go out and replace lift stations,
Lift
pumps.
stations, motors, pumps. It'll all add up over time, which I'm sure people would rather have some of their tax dollars maybe going for a little better things in your community than
Something fun.
totally battling this problem constantly.
Yes. And I think you have told us that you come down to this screen, bar screen, 2 times a day, 365 days out of the year.
That is just intense.
Yeah. So that's taking Larry and the rest of the Public Works crew away from other things that could be benefiting our community. You know, it's a lot of time.
Yep.
Well, I guess to wrap this up, what can you tell us about what people should really be looking out for? What needs to change here?
We need to make sure that the only thing being flushed down the toilet is toilet paper, because anything else is going to clog the pipes and cost Frazee a lot of money.
Let alone any other community. It's a problem, and we're not the only ones who have it. And like I said, I'm speaking for every small town across America.
I believe that.
And I think there is some things happening with some of the manufacturer of these products, but I haven't heard any updates on how that's going beyond the federal or state level.
Well, you even mentioned to me how much it would be to replace, you said, one lift.
Oh, a main lift station, they can get, pumps and stuff can get quite costly, anywhere, depending on how small, a small pump, anywhere from $10,000, you might be up to $50,000. That's for a small sized town. Mm-hmm. Some of these bigger towns, you're probably looking at $100,000 pumps plus.
So $50,000 added to the budget in Frazee, Minnesota.
We do not budget for that. That would be a really hike in the taxes. But before we do sign off today, I just want to say thank you to Larry and the rest of the Public Works crew for how hard they work for Frazee and to cobble together. Not everybody would come down here and fish that out. They just would let it cost us money. We would really like to ask the public to make every effort to keep having this conversation and to keep, just flushing toilet paper down and encouraging their neighbors, their families to know about this issue. Because if you don't have the conversation and you don't know, people believe that when it says flushable, it's flushable. And as we've had this conversation now a few times, it is not. So
Yes, try not to use your restrooms or bathrooms as garbage.
That's a good way to say it.
Garbage cans.
I like that. It's just for toilet paper, and a garbage can is for everything else.
Yep.
So, yep.
That's right. Well, Frazee, you're called on alert. We need some help here, and we can do this all together. So this has been great talking to you, Andrea and Larry. Thank you so much for this time. We'll call it a day. Thank you for joining us on Spotlight at Frazee. And this is Karen Downing. Let's keep moving Frazee forward.